So if you're watching this video, you're probably watching it for one of 4 reasons. 1, you watched my video on which role you should choose starting out and have decided you want to heal anyway. I'm all for that. 2, you are already a healer and you're looking to tighten things up a little bit more. 3, you really like my content, and I appreciate that. Or 4, every other thing that you could possibly be thinking about that would lead you to this video. I need this list to have some credence behind it, so I needed a catch-all. Anyway, regardless of your reason for watching this video, you've come to the right place. Let me offer you 5 tips to make your healing experience easier and more enjoyable. Shall we get started? I love healing. While I tend to main tank, I absolutely love healing. Healing is like playing Final Fantasy through a different lens. It has some of the most satisfying moments in a lot of cases. Not to mention it makes the game very dynamic, where most fights are very formulaic and systematic. Healing has a more dynamic gameplay style, because while I can predict what a boss will do, you can never predict what players will do. Look at you, floor tanks. But it gives so much variety to the game when you run a healer. But I also do consider it very difficult to play healer starting out, and it can be very intimidating because healers are the ones that have the most stressful job of keeping the party alive. Somebody in the comments on my role video mentioned something to the effect of not dissuading people to get into healers. And while I don't recommend healing for brand new players starting gaming or players who are first-time MMO players, that is 1, a suggestion, and 2, not meant to dissuade you from playing it long-term. The only reason that I recommend that is because it can be very difficult to pick up the nuances of healer when you don't necessarily understand the nuances of an MMO or gaming in general, depending on the type of player you are. But to that person's point, it does also come off as dissuading you from playing healer starting out, and it's not meant for that. The goal is really to help you make a decision if you're unsure. If you want to play healer, I encourage you to play healer. Healer is a lot of fun. I love healing. And so I wanted to make sure that I put a little more priority in this video to make sure that I amended that statement and gave you the tools that you need to succeed if healer is the route you want to take. Let's talk about the 2 different kinds of healers that you can play as: pure healers and barrier healers. And this is very simple to think about. A pure healer, if you take a bunch of damage, a pure healer will heal you back up. A barrier healer will see damage coming and protect you from it in some capacity before you take it. To simplify that, a barrier healer is a proactive healer. They see damage coming, they throw a shield on you, or they throw a mitigation on you, you take less damage. A pure healer is a reactive healer. They see damage hit you, they see your health bar go down, they throw out some spell, and your health goes back up. Proactive versus reactive. Barrier healers are proactive, pure healers are reactive. There are 2 classes within each category, and they both have plenty of overlap. It's just that one has more tools that favor their playstyle than the other one will have of that same tool type. Astrologian is my healer of choice, and my pure healer of choice, of course. Scholar is my barrier healer of choice, but I will choose Astrologian before I choose a Scholar because I prefer pure healing. But I don't think either one is wrong, and they're both a lot of fun. And they just have different approaches to how you think about things. I will say, if you are a newer player, I recommend pure healing first, because pure healing lets you react to things, where barrier healing is better if you have some knowledge in your back pocket already on what to throw out to protect people or when to time that kind of stuff. Barrier healing rewards proactivity, and having knowledge of something prior to going in will help a lot. So the first and easiest tip I'm going to offer is heal the party list, not the party. One of the interesting things about healers, where DPSs tend to be looking more at damage and mob positioning and their own positioning, your focus is more on really the party list, on the gauges going down and making sure they're filled back up. And rather than trying to click on a constantly moving person, clicking on your party list, or in the case of controller, using the up and down D-pad while not holding triggers will let you select the targets there, it is much easier to heal. It sounds like a silly tip to anybody who's done healing before, but I've encountered a lot of circumstances where a sprout healer will try to click on people, and then there will be wipes because they couldn't get them because they keep moving or there's too many mobs in the way. It also is where you're going to be looking anyway for health bars as well as the debuffs that you need to clear with Asuna. So probably the easiest tip in the list, for sure. Which brings me to tip number 2. Keep HP up, but not topped. As a healer, your instinct might be to offer heals whenever anybody's missing any form of HP to make sure that they're always at full health. Our job as healers is not to make sure people are at full health. Our job is to make sure that people have more than 1 HP. I'm not saying let them drop down to 1 and just roll the dice, but think of it from an efficiency standpoint. Let's say I give you $100 every week as long as you don't go over $400. On a particular day, you're at $380 and I'm about to give you $100, but you can't go over $400. So I'm only giving you $20. You have now lost $80 because you overcapped. Healing efficiency is the same way, using the same explanation, but in HP. If you have 15 out of 20 of your HP and I heal you for 10, I've wasted 5 HP. There's no need to overheal. There's no benefits to that unless you're a shield healer, and even then it's functionally different. Shield healers give what's essentially temporary HP that will go over the limit, and that's fine. But if you're using something that is not giving a barrier of some sort, then there's no reason to do that. You want to try and maximize the amount of health you're getting out of each input that you're doing so that you can heal the most effectively and be able to put out more damage on the mobs, because the thing that's going to keep the tank from losing HP is not getting hit by monsters, and you can contribute to that by killing them. Which leads us to our third point. Have you heard the ABCD of healing? Always be casting damage. Or don't be a fool, heal with your tools. What do I mean by this? As you gain levels in any healer, you will get a lot of off global cooldowns, or OGCDs, or weaves, choose your term, in order to heal people with. In any circumstance, those are what you're gonna wanna heal people with first. The only times you're hard casting heal spells is going to be either when you're completely out of other resources to heal people with, you're casting a regen spell or a pre-prepped barrier, which is usually going to happen prior to combat, which is a leader tip, just hold on. Or you're in low level content and that's kind of the only option that you have. I'm going to put a little asterisk here because there is an exception to this rule, and that's early game. Every healer has tons of buttons on their hotbar that allows for healing without casting. Anytime I'm in a dungeon or trial instance, 9 times out of 10, my casts are going to be damage casts, either single target damage or AoE damage, because I don't need to use hard cast heals to keep people alive. You get so many buttons for that. A quick look at my hotbars will tell you, if you know Astro spells, of course, that I don't even have my hard cast heals in obvious places. My single target heal is in the back, and it's tucked away with my reses, which ideally I'm not going to be using res very often. Doesn't matter how good of a healer you are. Sometimes you're just going to have to use res often. My only immediately accessible hard cast heals are required for certain parts of my kit for clutch situations, and even then, if you've watched my hotbar video, I tend to hang out on this side of my hotbar. But looking at all the buttons I have here, these two are DPS. This is my regen button. This is my oh shit button, like things are going bad, so I have this heal as a clutch. If you're a white mage, benediction is what I have here. These are my frequent use heals that I use on cooldown, and this is my 2 minute heal. These are all my special heals that I use in specific situations, and these are mitigations and my cards because I am an Astro and I have to play cards. The point I'm making here is that I don't use my single target hard cast heal if I have anything else available to me, because there are much better ways to heal somebody, and I can focus on doing damage to the boss, because again, the boss can't do damage to the tank if it's dead. So just kill it. Easy. Healing is a funny thing because either things are going super well and it's boring because you have 1 to 3 buttons that you're using for anything, or things are going to shit and you're having the time of your life because you are single-handedly keeping the party on life support, and it feels so good. So remember, always be casting damage. Don't be a fool, heal with your tools, which is going to lead us into tip number 4. Try your best to spend your resources and not cap out on things. What does this mean? Bring back up my handy dandy hotbar, and explain. So if you see my ability over here, Essential Dignity, it has 3 charges. While this is my oh shit heal that I like to reserve in the case of an emergency, Essential Dignity rewards me for healing people with lower health. The lower their health, the more health they get back. So I don't like I like to have it as a clutch heal if things are going poorly, and I'm rewarded for letting their health drop first. But if I am capped on that, I do not gain more stacks of it. Using that same analogy that I was using earlier, if I give you 1 stack every 30 seconds, if you have 3 stacks, I'm not gonna give you the new one. That's just how it works. So try your best to spend your resources. And this advice is applicable to all classes, not just healers. If you have a resource gauge of any sort, you should try to make sure you're not capped on it. So that way you get to restock and get more of it. And Astro has a couple of buttons like this, as you can see on my hotbar. There's a lot of big red numbers. Not every heal should be used on cooldown. Each one has a different circumstance. Where my Essential Dignity is an oh shit heal that I don't like capped because it gets stacks. Benediction on a white mage I try not to use unless I'm in a clutch situation because I want their health to be as low as possible before I use it. And it's got a long cooldown, so it needs to be my emergency tool, not my on cooldown heal, if that makes sense. Versus Earthly Star, or my bubble, you can see here, I tend to keep these on cooldown fairly often because the cooldown is short and the benefits they give me are great. Astro in particular rewards good planning, so just play around that. But each heal has a different circumstance. The important thing, don't overcap. For the last tip, tip number 5, practice pre-pull prep. Say that 5 times fast. And then, check this out. I mentioned earlier that one of the exceptions to hard casting is when you are not in combat. Pre-pull prep is dependent on what class you're playing, but the idea is that you set your tank up for a pull in a dungeon so that you don't have to necessarily worry about them until the end of the pull. What this looks like for me as an astrologian is before they attack something, I will throw a regen on them. This way, the tank hasn't attacked something, we're not considered in combat. I will still have a full use of my sprint when that time comes, and I'll get to that part in a second. I don't want to throw the regen on him once he's pulled because I will be considered in combat for having healed somebody who's in combat. That's step 1. If I was a barrier healer, the way this would look is I would be casting a particular barrier spell. If I was a scholar, this would be Adlo or Adloquium, because I want to put the barrier on them before they start healing to start soaking up the damage. And the other pure and barrier healers have their own versions of this as well. So that's the first step of pre-pull prep. Throwing on whatever protection or regen you need to before they start moving. The second one is going to be watching for when they start sprinting. Not sprinting when they start sprinting, but watching their sprint. There's 2 parts to this. You don't ever want to lose line of sight with your tank, because if you lose line of sight, you cannot cast heals. So if they run around the corner and they're running low, they will die. My personal practice is to hold my sprint for a couple of seconds while I'm moving with them so that I will have a couple of extra seconds at the end of the sprint in order to get to a spot that I feel I need to be in for the pull while not letting them get too far out of my range. I mentioned this in my Tankxiety video as well, but you always want to use your sprint before you start a pull so that you have the maximum amount of time, which is 20 seconds. If the pull starts, you only have half of that. As soon as a tank hits a mob, they are considered in combat. But you as a healer, unless you've hit something, the only other time you're thrown into combat or considered in combat is when you've thrown out a heal on somebody who is. So you pre-prep by throwing your shield or your regen on them, and then you follow them. If they're a good tank, they will start their sprint. You'll let them get just a little bit away from you, not too far. You just want to be 2 to 3 seconds behind them in sprint timing so that you can start your sprint. That way, you will have a couple of extra seconds on them when you catch up. The reason that I suggest staggering this timing is one would think if both of you started at the same time, one started going faster and the other one started going slower, you'd get there roughly the same time, roughly the same space, and it could be worse. But you never know what a person's going to do. So having that extra 2 to 3 seconds up on them will allow you to get a stronger position based on whatever random actions they take from start to finish. It's worth noting as well that in trials and raids, this is going to look a little different. Pre-pull prep still applies to some degree, but not to the same extent. And you'll end up doing some extra prep in downtimes as well. When it comes to trials, it's a little more adapting to the situation. Since it's constant damage, you'll be constantly healing versus dungeons that have very clear ebbs and flows of pacing. For this last tip, rather than just tell you, let me show you as well. I didn't even get my fucking, oh my God. Oh, fuck the demonstration. We're not demonstrating. I don't want to demonstrate. I just had the worst dungeon experience of my life, dude. I am probably the most patient person. I'm patient for new people. I'm patient for hard runs. I'm patient for wipes. But that was really rough. Oh, man. All right, I know I said I was going to do the demo, but I don't have it in me now. All you need to know is before you start running, throw a regenerate shield on somebody and let their sprint start first. That's it. No demo required. I believe in you and your ability to interpret my words. Oh, man. Guys, I'm losing it. Let's summarize. Tip 1, heal the party list, not the party. Tip 2, keep HP up, not topped. Tip 3, always be casting damage. Don't be a fool, heal with your tools. Spend your resources, don't cap on them, and practice your pre-pull prep. I will say this again, I don't think that healing is the best start for people, especially who have never played an MMO before. As somebody who's an experienced healer, I went through a pretty stressful experience just now, and I assure you it's not because I'm bad at healing. I'm actually quite a good healer. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm like pro levels of numbers on the board, but I can assure you that I won't let you die. But there's only so much not letting you die I can do. Once you've hit 5 bone stacks, I can't help you. And if ads spawn and and the tank won't pick them up, I also will do my best, but eventually somebody's gonna die. And if you see an ad preparing to summon something, focus on the one ad. Don't everybody take one. It's never gonna work. Oh God. Me losing my mind notwithstanding, I do hope that these healer tips will both help and encourage you if and when you're ready to pick up the healer role, because again, as stressful as that was, I do dearly love healing. It is a very good time. Where some dungeons are me spamming my single target and AoE buttons for damage, dungeons like the last one, man, I don't have enough buttons for the amount of challenging that was. In retrospect, it was exciting, but it was also very hard. And it took a very long time. I'm gonna go back and check the footage and I will post how long it took me to get through that dungeon right here. If you are interested in joining the AzureRogues in any capacity, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, because you are already a rogue as far as I'm concerned there. You can follow me on Twitch. I am there at least 2 nights a week, with at least one of those nights being Final Fantasy XIV. You can join the Discord, where you can have direct communication with other rogues as well as myself. If you have any questions about anything from healing to your hotbars to settings or anything else, you can find me there and ask anything you like in the Ask a Mentor channel. And if you'd like to join our free company, we are both on Dynamis Rafflesia, which is where I'm currently at, or Crystal Coeurl. With that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Oh my God, I'm dying. Let me offer you 5 tips to make your healing. Let me offer you 5 tips to make healing a cakewalk. Let me offer you 5 tips to make you the healer that no one ever was.